Welcome back. We are talking with Brandon High School varsity football coach Brad Zuby. We are in week 8 in 2025 football season and coming off a tough loss to Owasso. Every time I think of Owasso, I think of Brad Van Pelt, that great Michigan State number 10 quarterback who
Yes.
spent some years with the Giants. They brought a tough team in this past week. You guys were 4-2. You kind of they stood you up a little bit at homecoming, and let's talk a little bit about the season and about the game and what happened.
Yeah. Both of us 4-2. Like most weeks, we gave up a lot of size up front. Third week in a row, we've played a very athletic quarterback. We got down early, 12-0, and kind of chased those same 12 points all night. We had, I don't think we've ever lost a game where we've had 509 yards of offense before. We had some questionable calls. I don't like to blame things on officiating. I don't do that, but we had the penalties were a lot more in our opponent's favor than they were in ours, and that slowed down some drives where we would have had some points that we know that didn't get put up on the board. We were able to stabilize the run game after those first couple of series, but to their credit, they found some things in their passing game. We got some young kids in the secondary that were in the right spots. Balls were just thrown on target, and kids made plays, and we lost them on a couple scrambles. Possessions were limited in the second half. They scored and got an onside kick that should have been blown dead, hit their player first, and they were given possession of the ball, which shorted us the possession as well. So, when you couple, all those things that, went together in that game, we ended up, the same 12 points we got behind. We ended up behind 12 at the end, 34-22. Kids played well, though. I mean, we are a small team with a small roster. We've got kids that I'm proud of our boys. They're digging things out. Damian Watton, another impressive week, 23 carries, 161 yards, and a touchdown. Luke Hansen, 13 carries, 112 yards. Dimitri McNear caught 7 balls from Alro for 119 yards. Hansen and Linder both kicked in 10 tackles on defense. So, the kids are fighting, they're battling. That's a game we would usually and normally win, and it just didn't. Some breaks didn't go our way. So we are now 4-3, and ended up finishing tied for second place in the Flint Metro Stars division. And it is crossover week, and the Flushing Raiders are coming to town.
Is that good or bad for you?
I think anything is good at this point. It's good football. They're a good team. They're a Division II team. They've got, from looking at their team, they've got probably 45, 50 guys on their teams. They got a lot more players than we do. But our kids are, like I said, our kids are playing good football. We were excited to get any opponent this week to see who comes in. Flushing's going to be a big test. They've got some nice skill players. They got some size up front, so it'll be a challenge. They're coming off a win over Sports Creek and then a loss to Holly the week before. They've got a big one against us, and they close with a big one against Dexter. So they've got some work to do on their end. We've got some work to do on our end. It should be a good football game. It's senior night, it's teacher appreciation night, so hopefully it's a fun night for us.
The win against Shorts Creek for Flushing wasn't necessarily that big a deal because Shorts Creek is, as you pointed out earlier, is a little bit on life support.
Yeah, they're struggling this year. They got a new coach, a new system that they're trying to figure out. They do have some nice players, though, when you watch the film. They got a big running back. We played Sports Creek last year in the crossover, and they were a little bit better off last year than they're doing now. But they got a big running back. They got some speed. They had some size to kind of neutralize Flushing's size a little bit. But, it's just matchups. Everybody in the Flint Metro League, it just depends how you match up. When you look at our division, you got Goodrich clearly at the top, Corunna clearly at the bottom this year. But when you look at Owasso and Brandon and Clio and Lake Fenton, we all took turns kind of beating each other this year, and it's pretty even football, and it's just comes down to getting out alive sometimes.
Okay, now there's no coach alive at 4-3 is not looking at the rankings and see where points are. I'm sure you're doing the same.
Sure.
So 4-3 could be 6-3, 5-4, or 4-5.
Right.
Of those 3 scenarios, what do you have to be to get into the playoffs, at least at this point?
6-3 is going to lock in. A win over Flushing with those guys being Division II probably locks us in. A loss to Flushing and a win at Pontiac. Pontiac's the same division as we are. They're Division III. Not going to pull a lot of bonus points if we get that one. Pontiac's struggling a little bit. That might be enough, but that might be enough. But we don't want to leave it up to chance. So we want to get this one taken care of.
Pontiac's Southwestern. Okay, let's be honest.
I think they're a little bit better than the Flint team we saw week 1, but you don't know what teams look like week 9 when they're kind of getting ready for basketball and resting a little bit. But Pontiac High is where I got my start. I got nothing but love for the Phoenix.
No, I'm not disparaging.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if you look at the numbers and you look at the record,
Sure.
you're
Yeah.
not coming out of there with a lot of bonus points for winning.
Right. The points come from playing teams of equal or bigger size. So
Yeah.
you don't want to play playing a Division III team with 1 or 2 wins is the same as playing a Division V team with 6 or 7 wins.
Okay, I would be remiss if I didn't ask this question. I was a longtime referee at the collegiate and high school levels.
Yes.
I know you're not complaining about the referees, but we had this long conversation about Brian Branch going off and hitting somebody. Well, he was taunted because he got blocked in the back and all the rest of it. If you swing an open hand or an open fist and hit somebody in the helmet, I don't care what the guy did before that, you're going down. There's just no other way around it.
Right. That's one of those things we always tell our kids, right? Like if you punch a kid, you're going to get caught because they don't ever see what happened to cause the punch.
Second man in gets it all the time. We both agree with that.
Yeah, all right. One of those things you always kind of warn your kids is like there's things I can do to help you. I can't help you once it goes there.
My point is that I've seen all kinds of good officials, bad officials, good officials on bad nights. I literally have never seen, I've said this to you more than once, I've never seen an official cheat, not once. But here's the point, here's the question. All of a sudden you got adversity with those officials, because let's just assume for a second they're on a bad night, or maybe they're just bad officials. And my point to that is, how do you deal with that as a coach? What do you tell your kids? Is it not to overcome it somehow, or is it?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, Greg, when you've officiated. It's hard when you see a game where referees will tell you, oh, we can call holding any play we want. There's always holding every play. Well, I don't know how. Usually in a game where holding penalties are called excessively, it's evened out on both sides. We had the game Friday was 10. We had 10 holding calls to their 2, and we can run the tape back and look at it and say, well, here's one that probably could have went that way, and here's one that maybe didn't need to get called. But like you said, at the end of the day, you don't have any choice but to fight through it. So you can't. The kids can't see me as a head coach blowing a gasket on the officials. I am pretty cool and calm and collected. The only time you'll ever see me get upset with official is when it comes down to player safety. If one of my players is put in harm's way, I will get upset, But it is what it is. At that point, it's not gonna. Once you realize what you're in for, it doesn't seem to get better, and you're only gonna make it worse. So you got to fight through it.
I asked the question because here's my answer. Kid will say, so, right?
Yeah.
So what would you like me to do? He's going to be a terrible official. Work over it. You're going to have to work around it.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
And so the rest of the answer becomes you're never going to have somebody in your life that's going to treat you 100% all the time.
Right.
You're going to have a girlfriend you don't like. You're going to have a boss that you don't like. And the answer has to be so, because we're all going to face adversity. And
you got to work. You just got to work. You just got to work through. You got to find a way. You can't start feeling sorry for yourself.
And I think that's the reason I'm asking the question. Yeah. What do you trigger with your kids and tell them in those situations when you're getting hosed?
Yeah, I always tell my kids too. Hey, I want you to follow my lead, and if you see me freaking out, you're going to freak out. So if I'm remaining calm, we got to remain calm, and we got to fight through this together. All you can do.
Tell you, and we know we both have this experience. There's times when you want to walk on the field and choke somebody because you just think you can't understand how they ever got on the field.
Yeah, it just gets tough, and I know they're only human, and we can't play the game without them, and I respect them, and for the most part, they do a pretty good job, and it's not an easy job being out there. I'm one of the guys though that I speak to the officials a lot, have a good relationship, and I tell those guys, hey, let's call the car crashes if you see it and it's blatant and it's affecting the play, I refer to that as a car crash. Let's call it. Everything else, man, let's let the kids decide it.
Okay, so last question, and we'll get off of this, but we've gone from 5 officials to 7 4 years ago.
Yeah.
For more eyeballs. Do you notice the difference?
Not really. And then when you get back into the playoffs, it goes back to 5, which is crazy,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think, I don't know how 7 guys don't see a kick hitting the other team first.
Well, I can tell you, and it doesn't matter, but I was doing a Big Ten game, and the only guy that missed the traveling call 6 feet in front of Bobby Knight was me. And I was the only guy that missed it. I promise you that'd be the case. And I just came up and I said, Coach, you just got screwed. Yeah, I didn't see it. And he had to sit down and keep his mouth shut because he knew I missed the call.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens too.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I will appreciate that kind of response from an official too. If they say, I'm sorry we missed it." A lot of times too, I'll get an email or a call back from an official during the course of the week, and they'll say, "Hey, you were right on that. We're sorry we missed that." And I'm the same way. If I jump on a guy because I think something's wrong, I'll get the number from the assigner and I'll reach out and say, "Hey, so and so, I was wrong to jump on you like that. You guys got that one right.
One quick
We can all
story.
need our mistakes."
Farmington Harrison had unbelievable teams under John Harrington.
Yeah, yeah,
We did the Kale in those days. It was the Kale Kensington Valley.
yeah.
We had a game with them and somebody one year, and John absolutely guaranteed that we gave them 5 downs. The 5 downs led to a touchdown, which led to overtime. John won. We had them the next year, the same 2 teams for the same championship. And on Wednesday of the championship week, we got the tape of all 5 of the plays that we screwed up the year before with a note that's saying, "We hope you guys can count to 5."
I you'll like this Harrington story. When I was at Stony Creek, let's see, it was my second year at Stony, and I'd been at Pontiac for 2 years, so I had somewhere around 20 wins, somewhere around 18, 20 wins or something. And John had just won his 400th game the week before, and we were playing good ball at Stony. It was a really good Stony Creek team. And I don't remember who it was. It was I think it was Free Press for the News. Tom Markowski, I think, had called me up to do a story on the game. And I said, it's the only game in Michigan this weekend where the two head coaches have been combined for 420 wins.
Good luck with the crossover this week, and we'll be back next week, and hopefully you'll be having a conversation, hopefully looking towards the playoffs.
Let's hope.
Don't worry. A lot harder than I thought. I'm gonna take you home. It's okay.
That's it.
It's my little baby.
Wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you as you bring our colorful stories to the world.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
I'm back with Sarah Burgess, the head coach of the Brennan varsity and middle school tennis programs. Sarah, it's been a few weeks since we talked. You guys have been busy finishing up your season. I kind of want to get into the Flint Metro League tournament that you sent me the results of a couple days ago. You guys played that in the 30th. Before we talk about the results of that, I noticed a lot of bracket spots missing. A lot of things that said no team, no player. A lot of people got buys. We mentioned earlier about you guys posting on Facebook and kind of searching out for other teams to fill these roster spots. What's that been like, kind of dealing with a bunch of vacant spots and a bunch of buy rounds? Were you seeing a good turnout at the tournament, or what was that like?
So I think it kind of goes like for a lot of teams of like we get to the end of the season and school's started now, kids are starting to get sick, they're injured, and then uh we had a lot of buys because Corona didn't have a team this year, so that makes it a 9 team instead of a 10 team tournament. So all those slots are technically empty. So kids who would normally play like a regular first round match are now in a buy and then they head on to the second round because we don't have a team there.
Oh, okay. Sorry to hear that. I mean, I was just wondering what that was looking like. It makes sense, though. I'm hearing from all the coaches that I'm interviewing. You guys are dealing with sicknesses at this time of year. You know, the seasons are starting to change and makes sense. So we finished, looks like fifth place overall in the season, as well as fifth place in that tournament. Owasso finished first. That was surprising to me. I mean, I remember my time in Ortonville. Owasso would never really thinking about them, as the big struggle when we're going on in the season. What's the diaspora of tennis looking like in the Flint Metro League? Who's the top right now? Has it always been Owasso, or is Goodrich up there, or what's that like?
Owasso is very surprising. I don't think they've won the league tournament in probably like 20 or so years. But how it works is realistically, you can do as best as possible at the tournament, but that's only 16 points total. what is really impactful is how you do during the regular season with dual matches, and they were up there with the top of the teams. They tied several matches. Goodrich was surprisingly not number one, but how it works with the tournament is if you are not like in the top team, you can take other teams out. So that's kind of what our team did is they all the kids played super well and we ended up taking Goodrich out of the running. We took at least 2 points from them and then took Flushing out of fourth, bumped them down to fourth place because we took a couple points from them as well. So
There you go. Well, Owasso's got us to thank then, in part, right, for their success. That's awesome to hear. Good for them. On the Brandon website, it says you guys are scheduled for tomorrow, your regionals game. Is that true? Are you guys still playing?
so we're playing on Thursday. We're headed up to Williamston and Hazlitt and we'll compete there with several other D4 private schools. So it should be an interesting day. It'll definitely be much higher competition, difficult, but kids should play well.
Yeah, and you guys were seeing a lot of that higher competition from these private schools in the preseason. I know we were talking about that early on. Has it kind of been better now that you guys are playing more Flint Metro League level schools, or has it been kind of the same?
I think it's definitely good to see the kids have made quite a bit of improvement from the start of the season to where we are now. And I think that definitely showed where we competed at leagues, where we competed at a higher level. We had several kids make it to the semifinals. And if we didn't have injuries, probably would have won some of the final rounds. But it'll be interesting to see regionals. We're looking at other schools. We've definitely started to make that improvement where their scores don't necessarily show that, but we'll see what happens. You never know.
Yeah, well, we're excited to find out. Like we said, the end of the season's coming up. Your regionals, you're about to finish that out. Are you guys losing a lot of seniors this year? What's the next season looking like for you guys? Are you expecting a big freshman class? I know you're coaching the middle school team, obviously.
We are graduating 7 out of 12 kids, so we should have 5 coming back, and kids got big shoes to fill, and hopefully we'll get a few more kids coming in, but it'll definitely be more of a rebuilding next season. We've started to build the culture and the environment, and now we just need the kids.
Well, there you go. You got anyone that's thinking about playing college tennis, maybe coming up, or?
I have a couple kids that we've been talking about it. I know our three singles, Kane, he's reached out to a couple schools, so hopefully we'll see some scouts on Thursday at regionals and we'll go from there. But hopefully
Oh,
he'll move on to the next level.
all right. Well, we're excited to see that. And you said that's on Hazlitt on Thursday, right? Well, hopefully we can send a crew out there to film for you guys.
Yes, Hazlitt and Williamston. So
All
it'd
right,
be great to
great.
have you. I know we're close by.
Well, Sarah Burgess, thank you so much for joining us once again on the Blackhawk Report. We hope to see you next season.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.